Hey, peace. What's up, everybody? This is your man, Jon B. I want to send a big shout to all hip hop. It's all love, baby.
What's going on, world? It's your man Chuck Creekmur, aka Jigsaw, here at One World Studios, and we are here with a legend in R&B sound and a legacy artist, Jon B. What's going on?
Peace, man.
The
Good to be with
first,
you.
one of the singers with a name that sounds like a rapper.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Jon B. But how you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I'm really good, man.
Yeah, it's good to have you
Yeah,
here in the
good to be here.
studio, live and in person after all these years.
Yeah.
You have a new album, Waiting on You, that you've dropped.
Yes.
Sounds very, very classic R&B.
Definitely
Yeah,
bringing it back to that, what
right.
you know me for.
Definitely. Tell us what were you looking to accomplish with this album?
I mean, really just to continue the tradition of putting out good music, music that I feel in my heart. I write all my stuff, so it's all very personal to me. And it shows people where I'm at right now, in my life. It's been 30 years of doing this, so it's lots of maturity that's gone on, lots of growth, both as a writer, songwriter, and a producer. So really showing that, it doesn't stop. And the relationship I have with my fans, I think they were looking for a new album. Everybody was tired of waiting, so it was about time for me to get back in the studio and cook something up.
Yeah, definitely. Somebody referred to me as the male Tina Marie.
Okay. Hey.
I was like,
I love them
and
flowers.
I was like, what? And I was like, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that sounds perfect to me. Tina Marie was, to say the least, a musical genius and a trailblazer for her. I feel for the females, and it just shows that soul is soul, and it always has been. And God don't make no mistakes, man. When He gives you your talents, man, if you it's just up to you to be able to take it and cherish it and develop it and just keep giving your all. It don't matter how He colored you, how He made you. You know what I mean? Or the lack of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's what is on the inside that really, really matters. And the proof is in the pudding, man. Just make good music.
Yeah,
Just make good music.
And that you do.
Thank you so much, sir.
And to do that for, I mean, this is really 30 years since your first album. It's kind of hard to process.
It is amazing. Is what it is. It's also, the charge that I get from my fans when the shows and I see everybody so, just so hyped to see me again. And all the shows are sold out everywhere I'm going. So the attendance is amazing, and everyone is singing the songs. Some of the songs they weren't singles; they were just album cuts, and they're singing those records, and it's just so beautiful to see that the relationship continues. And I'm here for y'all, man. As far as singing is concerned and conveying my message, I'm gonna sing my heart out for you until I can't do it no more. That's just what I'm here for. So.
Now you came out, 95. Not to stress the time, but that period, hip hop was on fire.
Yeah.
That was a real, almost like a seminal year, like the
90.
golden era.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, I will say, hip hop and R&B hadn't fused yet, because I remember when, R&B radio wouldn't play rap songs. They just wouldn't play it. If it had a rap on it, they wouldn't play it. And we always had to have two versions of a record that did have a rap on it, one with the rap and one without the rap. So they could play it on the R&B stations. And vice versa for the hip hop shows. They didn't want to play a song with a bunch of singing on it. They wanted a rap song. They wanted a hip hop record. So for me, to trailblaze the idea of a rapper and myself getting together and making a collaboration that we didn't give people a choice. We're just like, here, take it or leave it. This is it. It's hip hop R&B. It wasn't too many people taking those chances. And I'm sure the label kind of fell away, when they first heard the record, they were like, what are we going to do with this? It doesn't fit a format, man, but I think Tupac Shakur being on the record actually kind of changed everybody's mind.
Definitely.
His death was definitely, the one thing though that was sort of like, it was a gift, and then at the same time it was our situation was so sad that it was hard for me to live and ride that wave like that without feeling like I wasn't exploiting my man. You know what I mean?
Right.
So at first I was a little bit reluctant to put that out as a single.
Right.
And if it wasn't for his mother, Afeni Shakur, coming to my aid and saying, no, my son loved that song. He played it for me. You know, he wanted it to come out. I'm blessing you with that record and you could put it out.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really what drove me to want to put the record out. And then Sony, of course, was the label I was signed to. They figured it out. They were like, all right, we needed to put this out. You know what I mean?
That's dope. And
yeah.
That was Pac's last recorded song verse.
Yes, it was. Yes. We were in the studio 2 weeks before he went to Vegas, you know? And yeah, just to be with him in that time, in that pinnacle moment of his life, and to share the, you know, that energy in the studio together, and to collaborate together, and to, you know, bounce ideas off one another. You know what I mean? Yeah. Should I sing it like this, man? Yeah, this is, you know, is as tough as Tupac came off, you know, in his with his persona. That was the nicest guy in the world. He was like, he was a hard worker, diligent worker. You know, he would be working on another song in the other room at the same time he's working on my record. You know, so yeah, just to be able to see him in his vibe, and you know, that's what I celebrate in my mind, is those memories, you know.
You know, it's interesting that you say in the studio. In the studio, and a lot of people, they don't even have that concept anymore.
Yeah.
Because you can send
You just
verses.
send the joint, yeah.
And also I'm reading a book about Tupac. It's a definitive sort of biography. Over 700 people interviewed for it. And it does paint a very different picture of him than what's projected, what he even projected, honestly. How was your personal time with him?
I mean, Tupac was just a very loving guy, man. He was very kind-hearted, you know. I mean, I walked in the studio, and before I came in the studio, I saw my CD was in his car. Yeah, he had a Rolls Royce, so I was like looking in the window. Okay, that's a nice car, man. I looked in the window, I saw my album Bonafide, my first album. I was sitting there, I was like, that must be Pac's car. I hope it's Pac's car. That's dope if it is, because my record's in there, you know. He might have been listening to me or something before he came to the session. So that was dope. And as soon as I came in, it was just all, you know, it was very, you know, very cool to meet him. And we had already met at the How Do You Want It video shoot. That's where I met. You know, he told me to pull up, and I came through. And yeah, man. And you know, it's just when you have chemistry with someone, it doesn't take much time. You know, I don't know exactly how long the session was in total, but I know it took about 3 or 4 hours, and we were already 50% done with the record already. You know, that happened that fast, and the momentum was so real. We just kept on following it, and he really knew what he wanted, and I knew what I wanted. You know, as far as the collaboration, we wanted to do something that both of us had never done before. You know, and I feel like that record was definitely that for Tupac, because I feel like he opened up a certain side of himself on that record, where it was a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more, you know, easygoing. And we were joking about, you know, what do we want to write about, man? You know, it's like I got the melody, we got the basic of it, but what's the hook though? You know, and I was like, I don't know. I kind of want to get at my ex, like, you know, like it was one of them calls, like, you good? Like, you know, what's up? Like, oh, you want to ask her if she's still down? You know, like, it's like, all right, cool. That's what I'm talking about, man. So I had the melody going, and then, you know, sometimes I would kind of deviate from the melody, but Pac was always very, very focused, and he would just say, nah, it goes like this. Girl, it's all right. You know what I mean? And coach me and to produce me in the right way to, you know, singing it and whatnot. So
that's dope. That's dope. You talked earlier about being a songwriter. You know, Babyface is on your first album, which he's like the GOAT.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a special relationship, or did he mentor you in any way, or
absolutely?
How did you develop that talent?
I felt like he was a mentor to me, and absolutely is. You know, still to this day, I have nothing but admiration for Babyface, and you know, he's always been an influence on me, both vocally and musically with my production and whatnot. So, you know, he's up there with the Jimmy Jams and Terry Lewis's, you know what I'm saying, and Teddy Riley's, and you know, and the Quincy Joneses, and so the list goes on as far as the influences of R&B, but he's definitely up in there as far as one of the guys who is essential in my in my development as a R&B
Yeah.
cat, and I think that's really about having the time that we had early on when I was just cutting my teeth, just getting my myself started. He was essential in that process, and yeah, I mean, it's signing to Yab Yum Entertainment, his production label with his wife Tracy Edmonds at the time, was the door that opened me up to sign to Epic Records, which was an amazing experience to be signed to the majors. And I'm 18 walking into the Sony building like, whoa, you know what I mean? And flying on a Learjet with Kenny and Tracy to come here to New York City for the first, well, not for the first time, but first time as a proposed artist to be, that felt pretty cool. And I got a publishing deal, I got a record deal, and my whole thing was, if I'm gonna sign, I want to work with New Edition, I want to work with you, Babyface, I want to work with your brothers After Seven, I want to work with Luther Vandross, Michael Jackson, and I was able to do all of those things. So Tony Braxton, we had fun, man.
Man, listen, I was gonna ask you about that. Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I remixed the song from Michael.
Okay.
I didn't actually write the record. R. Kelly wrote the record.
Okay.
You Are Not Alone. And they didn't ask that many people to do remixes. They reached out to Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. They reached out to me. And I was just like, of course I will, And when I mixed it, Mike had reached out to the studio and called up, and he was kind enough to give me the compliment. Oh, I love it. It's so not very good. It's different than the original, and I like it. So that was cool, talking to him on the phone and getting to meet him later on at the Brit Awards in London. We were actually managed by the same manager at the time. Okay. Jim Morey and Sandy Gallen.
Gotcha.
And that was a really cool experience to shake his hand. That's just the goat of goats. You know what I'm saying? As far as influences, he was my first favorite R&B artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my God.
So yeah.
Mine too, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, Thriller. This is not to bait you into anything, but there's been this raging debate: Beyonce or Michael, and I'm like, okay. I hear you. No problem. But Thriller, that album, Off the Wall was great, right? But Thriller was like a whole thing in and of itself. And
it was a movie, man.
Yeah.
It was a movie, literally.
Yo, every
Thriller
song.
movie, right? I don't think there's ever been a musical production that has been more elaborate. You know what I mean? Thriller was it was the haunted house at Disneyland ride. You know what I mean? It was in a video. It was just dope and very inventive. And the song is an incredible record, and so innovative. There's nobody else who has a Thriller, let's say.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's the song about? It's like no one's ever written a song about going to see Scary Movie. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
It's a really, really original record. So
changed everything.
Yeah, it's kind of almost has a Broadway element to it as well. I was aware that Michael was a huge Broadway fan, so his hooks had these very fanfare, big Thriller. It's like you could see the Thriller sign. When you hear that hook. And that was I think he was in his mode. He wanted to outdo himself on Off the Wall and just elevate everything to the next level. Because Off the Wall was such a soulful album and just so warm and organic, and then all of a sudden Thriller came with all the it's kind of futuristic a little bit more. It had that thing. So yeah, that was dope though.
What's kept you committed to soul music? Other artists with your hue have defected.
Yeah, no. You know what? It is what it is. I mean, I feel that was a challenge in the beginning of my career, being having my complexion and walking in and having people, what are you? And why does it matter, man? I'm a singer. That's what I am. And does my voice sound good to you? Am I all right? And am I ugly D or something like that? You know what I mean? So no, it's just for me. I was like, it was almost like having, you know, three arms or something, like walking in sometimes. You know, just you just felt like odd.
Yeah.
And the bunt of a lot of jokes. You know what I mean? Early on.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Or you know,
Like what?
oh, well, I mean, people be like, you know, just making jokes about my race. You know what I'm saying? About me being white.
Yeah.
And that
But
was cool. That was cool because I never really
Okay.
saw a lot of other artists like in my lane, with my hue, as you say, having to hear those same jokes. I'd hear interviews with them, and it was just everything was just smooth. But I feel like I knocked a lot of those walls down to where it's like, you know, after you do it to me, you don't have to do it to the next man coming, because I already kind of like, you know, took the shock value away from that. You know, it's shocking. I kind of made, you know, I had 3 albums already done as an R&B artist and being successful with like, you know, several platinum singles before I had any sort of like other guys in my lane. You know, 3 albums to really, really be with the world and like let the world feel me. Right. Before there was a Justin Timberlake or a Robin Thicke, you know what I mean? Or so it's been a beautiful experience to have my time and set my, you know, set up myself in a way where I've been able to last all these years. 30 years later, I'm still here doing this. And it's not because of the attention I get. It's because I love this music. You know, I love to write it. I love to make beats. I love the sounds that come out the speakers, whether it's, you know, synthesized sounds or organic sounds from a piano and Rhodes or guitar. I just love music. So, and anytime that there's a chance for me to write a song and I'm in the mood to write a record, I still sit down there. I meditate on my, you know, my music, and I let the words flow. And evidently now you have a new album. You know what I mean? And it's a celebration that continues.
You know, respectfully, I'll just say this. I think those jokes are from a good place.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you were so authentic.
Thank you.
Now, there were others that, I don't want to name names, so I'm not going to name names, but there were others that didn't feel authentic. That maybe we just give them a pass because you're just, you know, passing through, or you're being marshaled in with someone.
I think when someone sees something, like these labels see something working, they're like, why did that work? You know what I mean? And then they try to like emulate what they think they can do to do that, but do it on a grander scale.
Right.
But you can't really, if it's not authentically that, you can't just make it that. You know what I mean? It's not, if it's not gonna rock well. You know what I mean? You're gonna be able to see through, you know, all of the stuff that's not matching up. Yeah. And this is a culture. That's the thing that people need to understand about it, is like, I'm not out here going home, you know, and not listening to R&B music and not like socializing with people who listened and daily live the life of listening and being immersed in R&B and hip hop culture. Like, those are my friends. That's my family. So yeah, it's not like a life of you know, I live this beachy life at home and like playing volleyball and going surfing every day, you know what I mean? And then I turn on my R&B hat, and you know what I mean? And throw on my black, you know, chain, and you know what I mean? And get in my mode. And it's like, no, that's not what I do. You know what I mean? This is not for dress up. This is not for show. This is who I am. And I've been this guy, you know, since I, you know, was in junior high and I had a style. You know, this is who I am. And I've been singing R&B, man, since before I even got a deal. So really thinking about it, it's like more like 40 years of doing this, you know, because I really started singing when I was like 10. Okay. So, you know.
How'd you, well, first of all, I heard you were, is this true that you were classically trained musician? Is that?
No, it was that my parents are both classical musicians and both teachers of music. My dad was a professor of music and also conducted orchestras, and my mother is a concert pianist and taught piano for 35 years. So kids coming in and out our house like a musical, just, you know, we were just a musical factory. And so hence the reason why I took it so seriously early on and was able to really excel quickly, to the point of getting a record deal at 18. You know what I mean? Was pretty remarkable for that time. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Wanted to ask, well, not ask so much though, but you know, I was reflecting on your song with Nas, Finer Thing.
Oh, thank you for asking about that.
Oh my God, that
Yeah,
song is
that's what's up,
perfect.
man. Good looking.
That song
Not,
is like
yeah,
perfect.
man, thank you, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was literally in London not too long ago, England with Nas,
Okay.
and he was playing with the orchestra. He was doing this tour where he had an orchestra behind him, man, a
Mhm.
full symphony orchestra. And I mean, if that's not boss, I don't know what
So
is, man. That's
crazy.
sophistication at its, at its peak, when you get to have an orchestra behind you
Absolutely.
and celebrating your music. So I wanted to come out and celebrate with him. So I came out that night. I didn't know if I was gonna get to run into him or not, but I came to the back of the where he was chilling, and he's like, they got Jon B here to see you, and he's like, R&B Jon B, like the singer Jon B. It's like, man, tell him come in here, man. And so I came
Mhm.
in there, and it was just all love, and I'm like, man, I loved our joint, man. And, that we had finer things, And he was like, man, I loved making that record with you, bro. Like I was honored that you had me on there, and I was like, you were honored to be on my record. I'm
Mhm.
like, yo, this is, because it was nuts to be able to come to my house where my studio is, and Nas had pulled up and playing pool and just
Mhm.
chilling, and then it's like, hey man, come down and hear this record real quick I got in mind for us. And I played him the beat, and he started rocking to it, and he's just like, man, that's like some male Sade smooth, like I could rock over that. So man, I really wanted to make a record that kind of made me feel like the beat almost had the same kind of pocket as a Street Dreams,
Mhm.
boom boom
Yeah.
boom boom, boom boom, that kind of tempo. So I immediately cooked up that for him specifically, and just to have him concur and be like,
Two
I'm on it,
verses.
I'm on it. Two verses, two. I believe that yeah, it's and then he wrote the song twice too to show
Okay.
you his dedication. He was just like Pac in that instance of he wasn't gonna let it slide if it wasn't absolutely to his standard that he
Mhm.
had in his head. He was gonna redo it, which he did. I watched him
Right.
write a whole 16 bar verse, go in there, sing it like it's just like that was the record. I was cool with that.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I said, "What you think, man?" He's like, "What you think?" I was like, "Man, I love it, man. This is thank you, man." He's like, "I hate it," and I thought he was joking at
Yeah.
first. He was like, "Nah, man, I don't like it, man. I'm gonna redo it."
Mm.
And so then the second version, I just kind of I let him be. When he would speak, he'd be like asking me questions about like people names, like
Mhm.
relationships of people,
Mhm.
to give him um, food for thought in terms of like metaphoric things to,
Mhm.
to name people, to name that kind of thing, cars, whatever. We're just talking about just visual stuff,
Right.
and yeah. So the song ended up being very visual. The way that he rapped it,
Yeah.
that the ending rap, what he came up with was like, it's so dope, man.
Mhm.
If I was your man, your knowledge would expand till we both are equal. Chilling on islands where the sand in the ocean is deep blue. There's three things that I got on my list. You qualified, you my miss. I count them down like this. Number one, you gotta be real. Don't lie to me about monogamy. See, hun, get out of my grill. Love me if I'm locked up or out on a pill. Keep it tight when I'm in it. Ask me, how does it feel? Number two,
Woo!
easy to do.
Yeah.
Be who you are. Be with me, a real G with every beat of your heart. And number three, last but not least, give me peace. And I show you the world most girls ain't lucky to see. Jon B. Let's go.
Man, listen.
I remember that verse to the T,
Yo,
baby. You know what I mean?
I love
That
I
was
love how
it.
people always say your name on that record too. I was
I
like,
mean, you know
yo, you
what?
got
I
that little
felt like
drop in
no,
there.
hey, that's what makes it hip hop to me.
Yeah.
Is like, because I just remember you know, like even just Rakim, Eric B and Rakim,
Mhm.
Eric B,
Mhm.
Eric
Yeah.
B, Rakim,
Right.
Rakim was,
Yeah,
all that,
yeah.
Eric B, and just those little things like that just have always,
Yeah.
I grew up with hip hop in the '80s, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, when all that was just getting started, and I'm just so honored to have grown up during that time, man.
Yeah,
With the
definitely.
trunk jewelry and the,
Absolutely.
break dancing and locking and you know what I mean,
It,
graffiti and just
there's nothing like
DJs.
it.
Yeah,
Nothing like it.
so yeah.
Um, did you ever try to rap?
Rapping is just something. It's like it's. I wouldn't consider myself a rapper, but rap is definitely something that is a musical tool for me. I have fun freestyling. I've been doing that for many years, ever since people started freestyling. And it's something that if I need to, I can.
Okay.
But I would never like enter into a freestyle battle or something like
Right.
that. That's not my move. That's not me.
Fair
I'm
enough.
much more the singer and the player, and the drummer, whatnot,
Okay.
music guy.
Your new album, you have Rick Ross, Donell Jones, Tank is on there.
Yeah, and Alex Isley.
Now, tell me who Alex Isley is.
That is the daughter of Ernie Isley from the Isley Brothers. So yeah,
That's a great song.
thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And I figured it was a relative of the Isleys, but I wasn't.
Yeah, with the Isley last name. Yeah, no, I mean, she's new, but at the same time, she's got this voice that just is so developed and so authentic that she sounds like she's been around for years. Already. She's got such a classic sounding voice, and I love the subtleties of her voice. It's very Sade-esque, or she's got a little bit of a her energy to her, a little bit, but she's got her own thing, and her jazziness and maturity of her voice is what I love. I mean, anyone who could come into my studio, hear a joint that I made, and just want to cut it just like that, I love them, because it's complimenting me as the songwriter, and it's like, no, I want to do it just like that. I loved what you did here, and the melody, whatever. It's just, to me, that's why I write. Is to get those moments that happen like that. Yeah, natural.
That's dope. Did you get in the studio with everyone?
Yeah, Tank pulled up to my studio. He came through. He loved the record. When I played it for him on the podcast, he was asking me what I was working on. I said, man, this is my latest joint, but I wanted to give him his flowers because he's been so influential to me over the years. As a singer, as an R&B guy. There's only so many of us that are really making moves, like doing full on tours, and you know what I mean, and really continuing to just be self-contained. And it's like light your own fire. You know what I mean? Get behind your own, your own mission, and be your own leader. And that's what he's done, man. So to have him concur with my record and say, man, I got something for that. And I was thinking he was gonna sing one of the verses or something. I said, which one you want? The front? You want the first verse, or you want the second verse? Or what are we gonna do here? And he's like, man, I don't want to. You bodied those verses. Like, I don't want to sing none of the verses. Let me put a bridge on that thing. And I was like, all right, bro, let's give it the bridge of life, man. And that's what he did, And he came, he kind of just finessed the record with piano and just these strings, and just really gave it an amazing uplift, just uplifted the record, enhanced it.
Did you ever feel any pressure back in the day, sort of like the Bad Boy era, when there were hard beats, hip hop beats, and things like that? I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like that. I didn't like the merger
of the.
I mean, everybody likes some songs. But
I remember there was a time where it was like the Humpty Dance beat was like the only song, the only break beat that everybody would sample.
Right.
So it was like there was like 5 different records that had the Humpty Dance sample on it.
Oh my
and
God.
I recently saw a tweet with my man Money B talking about that.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, everybody wanted to sample Humpty Dance when it came out, but
Oh my God.
so that was a little. We tried to merge, like the groups like Portrait and whatnot back in the '90s, and many different Aaron Hall.
Yeah.
But Don't Be Afraid.
Yeah.
No, I mean, once there's a trend that happens in R&B and hip hop, it's like it kind of is a wave that we all kind of want to ride a little bit, and that's what's been beautiful about the music. It's been such a community. It's been such a hey, I'm over here, we in the East Coast, blah blah blah, doing this. All right, well, we doing that same thing over here on the West Coast. What's up, y'all? Boom. You know what I mean? So you have Nas with Street Dreams happening with that same cut, and then you have Tupac with, you know what I'm saying, All Eyes on Me, the same joint. You know what I mean? So it's just beautiful to see us all embrace each other like that from afar. And it's like you don't know who you're your relative is,
Yeah.
until you start thinking alike, and it's like, oh man, all right, I see y'all.
Yeah.
So that's what I celebrate. It's like, our likenesses is it's not a bad thing,
Uh-huh.
but I love it when we can draw the lineage. We
Yeah.
can show you how it connects, not be, all about the self and I did this and this is what I do and that he want to do it just like me. Nah,
Right.
it's like, no, we got something in common. So
Mhm.
let's talk about those things so we can see how close and connected this thing really goes. You know what I mean? It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a
man.
fact. You are married.
Yes, 18 years. Yeah, 18 years. I got 2 daughters, man. 18 is my eldest and 11 is my youngest. Both, just wonderful young ladies, and they're on their way. They're growing up fast, though.
Oh man,
Tell you that much.
They enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful experience. It's a lot. It's a lot of grounding that happens, being around my wife and being around my. They won't allow my head to go too out there up in the stars. It's more about being able to come down from the cloud of being who I get to be on the weekends as a rock star, and then come home and be a dad. You know what I mean, and be a husband and wash them dishes and do do the regular dad stuff. Take the kids to school and make lunch and stuff like that. And it's a beautiful thing to do that. It really is, because I don't want to be Jon B, 100% 24/7 a day. That's cool and everything, but I like to take the leather jacket off and put it up in the closet and just wear a t-shirt and chill, water my plants, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I'm about, and it feels real good. I feel like it's making the music feel more mature as well.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you, how does that flow into the music,
It
especially you're also getting older, so the music and the time and the family, it all grows together.
It really does. As you mature as a man, you reflect that in your lyrics that you write. You reflect that in the music that you create. It's just the knowledge is building. So and you're really still figuring out, as you believe it or not, you're still figuring out what you can do and just your abilities as you're getting older. I'm getting better. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm getting better with time, and I feel like it's something to want to share still. I didn't get shy about sharing it. Somebody asked me the other day, how do you feel about your new music compared to your old music? And I was like, I love it the same way. And should I stop loving it as much? Does it mean, if it means less to you than it does to me, does that make me value myself less? Listen, you can grow to like the new music, all right? But for me, I love it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it if I didn't love it, and I wouldn't have put it out if I didn't love it. But I feel like it took 10 years to get to this place where I was ready to make another record. The road life is real. That keeps me busy all the time. So, that's really what took the lion's share of my time. And like I said, being a dad and raising my family, being a husband, you want to be around for that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took my time, but this album I think shows the growth and the maturity.
Yeah, good. Man, I like that you said all that, because I don't know, we don't get that enough. And even when the guys are married, sometimes you get this weird vibration that's trying to project sex appeal, but like hide that part of them. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not hiding it. My wife and I were recently just on 2 different, shows that are, TV shows. The Sherry Shepherd and Tamarind Hall, and celebrating our 18 years of marriage. And I'm not shy at all. We have been very kind of like private with our marriage. I'm not out here exploiting, like doing reality shows. We've been offered many times and had to turn them down. No, it's amazing to have people's interest in our lives like that. We recently just did our first magazine cover.
Oh wow,
which was
That's
cool,
dope.
and she was all dressed up and beautiful, and it's nice to share the spotlight with her after this many years, because she has been so behind the scenes, but she is my manager.
Good.
And she's the one who's orchestrating everything that you see.
Yeah.
You know, from the clothes I wear to videos to everywhere that I'm performing, she's making sure that I'm there. You know, booking the shows, and it's really nice when you have someone who is pulling for not only you but themselves, and that's the same household.
Right.
It's both our heads, you know, and so it's a team effort, and I think people can see just how that's paying off for me, you know, as an artist, how I've been able to make such a return to the game, you know. But if it wasn't for my wife, I don't know if this would be the same interview right now, you know. It's incredible the way that she's the job that she's done, and I want to thank my entire team, anybody you know who helped out with this album, Waiting on You, and the promotion of this album, and the radio, the video, all of that. You know, the touring. It's all looking good, y'all. So we appreciate you, man, from the highest.
Definitely. Shout out to your wife, man. I'm looking at the drip, and I'm like,
okay,
damn. I'm like,
all right,
damn.
She had me
I
right.
Worn something else.
No, you right. That's a fly sweatsuit, bro.
I knew I had to be on point.
That's a dope sweatsuit, bro. You right.
Thanks, man. I knew for a fact I had to be on point. I was like, man,
that's right, bro.
What do I wear? I changed it up 3 times last night. Yeah, I did. I definitely did.
I do the same crap, man. I do the same stuff, bro. You know, it's but I think that it's beautiful because she sees me, you know, and she sees she sees me a certain way, you know, and even sometimes you don't look at yourself and see yourself sometimes. You know, you might feel away, you know, at that moment and just not be your greatest fan.
Right. Because,
you know, who is their greatest fan all the time?
Right.
But I think it's very important to have, you know, the attitude of gratitude, you know, and also wake up with that sense of like knowledge of yourself, you know, knowing what you won't do today as opposed to what you will do. And I know what I'm really about. So there's, it's like, you know, putting on the, my garments is like, you know, dressing myself with my attitude, you know, that's how I feel today, you know, and I think it's important. It's important. I think artists should really take it seriously. It's your chance to be an artist, man. So don't just put your board shorts on, a t-shirt, and go to the interview, man. You know, unless that's what you're going for.
Right.
To each his own. You know, some people earn the right to be billionaire chic and come out in their dirty shoes and whatnot. You know, you still got money, so I get it. But at the end of the day, I mean, I just try to. You know, I'm trying to grow old with grace, you know, and they say black don't crack, and I'm hoping some beige don't age, you know what I mean?
Hey man, I was about to say, yo, you do it, you all right, bro? You must have the shea butter in there, man. Shea butter, cocoa butter, all the butters.
Wifey's, she's taking care of me, man. She's taking care of me. Big up wife.
Shout out to the wife.
Yeah.
And
all the wives, and all the ladies out here holding us down, man. You know.
Yeah.
Thank you, love. Thank you.
By the way, man, the best kept secret is a lot of rappers. I'm speaking specifically about rappers because that's what I know. Are managed by their wives, and the ones that are doing well.
Yes. You know she's gonna pull for you, man, because it's her household. You know, it's her life too. It's her lifestyle. It's everything that's gonna grow from that. So it's not just about, you know, getting with the corporate situation and they got it taken care of and they take their 20%. You get to do this. It's like a lot of them don't really do work well because they don't pull in a realistic way for you and where you can live a lifestyle where if it's not the lifestyle you're looking for, then they're not doing their job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're living the life that you want to live and you're making the type of money that you're supposed to be making and traveling and you're still making records and the tour's looking good and you're still putting videos out and everything that we're doing right now, you know, it's like that's what you're supposed to have. And I see a lot of people signed to corporations and I don't see them. I don't hear them. You know what I mean? I don't hear them on the radio. I don't see them in the videos. I don't see them on tour. And you got hits, but you signed to a corporation that's like don't care if you're here or there. You know what I mean? So.
Well, Jon B, I just want to thank you for coming to the
Thank
platform. AllHipHop is almost as old as your first album.
Right on, man. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's enjoy this.
Absolutely. Any
Yeah.
final words for the fans?
Just peace and blessings to everybody out here, man, who's been rocking with me 30 years. We just celebrated our 30-year anniversary of Bonafide, my first album, and Waiting on You is available for you. And please go support, man. Enjoy.
And we're gonna sneak in one of those sold out shows.
Let's go. I got
Thanks
you.
a lot, man.
Peace and love, y'all.
Appreciate you.
All right,
Yeah.
my man. Appreciate you, Chuck.